What's up, everybody? It's your boy Don,
It's B.
and welcome back to Not Another Damn Podcast.
Yes, sir.
So NBA free agency is among us.
Man,
Pretty much done, honestly. I mean, the last big dominoes already fell,
just earlier today.
and that's Kawhi. So before we go into the other moves, what do you think about that Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers move? How do you think that sets up the Clippers for the next? I think he signed a 4-year contract. 4 years.
142, something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
The max you can sign.
Yeah, but forget the numbers, the amount of years. So 4 years he's committed to LA.
Mhm.
How does that set up the Clippers in the future?
Well, obviously, I think based on where the Clippers performed last year,
All right.
winning 48 games with that young core, Montrezl Harrell still being there, still got Pat Bev, wasn't necessarily that young, but definitely was part of that developing
Right.
unit there. Obviously, you add a Kawhi and a PG. Still have Doc Rivers leading the bunch. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting a third player? Oh, and Lou Williams. He's still there. I don't know why I forgot about Lou.
Lou Williams.
Sixth man right there. So you mix that in. It's a nice mix of veterans and youth. You lost to Shea Gilders-Alexander, but obviously Paul George is more than enough compensation.
Right.
Gave up 4 future first-round picks, but you don't really worry about those because you plan on contending for championships for the next 4 years. So those 4 first-round picks that OKC will be receiving will likely be late first-round picks, if anything.
And then that's another thing. Like two things with the picks things. It always pisses me off when someone's like, "Oh, you gave up too many picks, too many players." Okay, I can understand. You give up 7, 8, 9, 10 players. All right, then that's kind of crazy. I don't think that's even possible in a trade. But
I don't think so.
too many picks? No. That picks don't, and this is going to sound crazy because you look at the Warriors, you look at the Spurs, you look at all these other great teams.
Mm-hmm.
Picks don't necessarily create championship teams. If you look at the Cavs, I guess Kyrie Irving was the first pick. LeBron left.
Mm-hmm.
That was only available. That was only able to happen because LeBron came back. They didn't just build through the draft. I mean, technically they did because they drafted Kyrie, but LeBron left. Kevin Love was traded there.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Thompson was drafted there, but I wouldn't say he was an integral piece of them winning the championship.
He was a role player, but
The Golden State Warriors, you could say that if not for KD, they would have only had one championship.
for sure.
If
without question.
KD stays in OKC, I think I think they beat the Warriors that next year.
I mean, they should have beaten them that in 2016.
Exactly.
I mean, and at that point, Steven Adams was still developing.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that if KD doesn't leave, you probably find a way to convince Serge Ibaka to stay or whatever. Wait, was he traded or did he leave him free?
Serge Ibaka, he was traded to
For Oladipo.
Orlando for Oladipo.
And that's a move they probably don't make if KD doesn't leave.
Yeah, if KD's still there, you don't get rid of Ibaka.
They keep that core intact,
But
and you look to go forward from there.
my biggest thing is talent trumps potential.
For sure.
Like talent and what you have is sure things trumps potential.
Mm-hmm.
And what picks are is potential. You don't. First off, you don't know where those picks are going to land. You don't know
know
who's
what-
going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what's going to happen. When you have the chance to go get a top 15 player, you do it.
No, I fully agree.
You do it. No matter what you have to give up, unless you're giving up 2 stars and not like 2 good players or 2 good role players. I mean 2 bona fide stars.
Mm-hmm.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he was a good player. He had a good rookie year. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player moving forward, but you're able to get Paul George in that trade. You can't beat that. And a lot of people are forgetting what an underrated player on the Clippers to me is Landry Shamet.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's still there.
When he left the Clippers, the Sixers gave him a big shot. I mean, it gave him a chance.
You when he left the Sixers?
When he left the Sixers, the Clippers gave him a shot, and I think he produced, and he produced at a really, really, really good level. I think he shot over 40% from 3 down the stretch after the trade from the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that roster, that team with Montrezl Harrell, you got Zubac coming back.
Ah, that's right.
You got Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams, Pat Bev, Landry Shamet. They have
Zubac,
a pretty
as you just
deep
said.
team.
And I think I read somewhere they still have some extra money left over. I don't know if it was for a mid-level exception but they still have enough money left to sign one of the. And there are still a fair amount of role player guys. I believe McGee is going back.
Yeah, McGee's back with the Lakers.
Back
Rondo's
with
back with the Lakers.
So who's probably their starting five right now?
Zubac.
Okay.
Yeah, he started last year down straight. He's played pretty good too.
Solid. It was very solid in the playoffs. And that, I mean, the thing is about it is that they pushed DeMarcus Cousins is out, but a healthy, all things considered, because KD was 100%, Clay was 100%, Curry was 100%. I mean, maybe a little beat up.
I think Steph was beat up a little bit.
Yeah, but that was more wear and tear.
Right.
I mean, and plus, as most respected NBA players will tell you, no one cares about guys who are playing through injuries once the playoff starts, because no one, relatively speaking, is 100%. You just got through playing a grueling 82-game season and 6 months of basketball. So, but that young Clippers team pushed that healthy Warriors team to 6 games, including 2 phenomenal road ones. If they could have just won 1 at home, who knows? They might have pulled off the upset.
Yeah, they could have. They definitely could have. I think with Doc Rivers, first off, a very, very, very good coach, a defensive-minded coach too, and then you have 2 of the best, if not top 3 defenders. not perimeter defenders or two-way players, defenders, period, in the league.
No.
You have 2 of the top 3 defenders in the league. And then you have 2 of the top 3 two-way players in the league on the same team. And then
who's the other two-way player you were thinking of?
Oh, another two-way player? To me, when he's healthy, and people don't no. It's 2 more. One, people don't really talk about him as a two-way player, even though he is, Klay Thompson. And I think because people see him as more of a jump shooter and he needs other people to create for him. So he doesn't really get the label two-way player. Jimmy Butler is the other one.
That's why I figured.
So Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. Those are the 3. And then Klay Thompson as well, because he plays phenomenal offense and phenomenal defense. Yeah. He just doesn't get that label because you seldom see him creating for himself. So people really label Klay as a shooter.
But in today's NBA, that's not a bad thing anymore because the whole game is about floor spacing. So when you have a guy who can just catch and shoot, like even like a JJ Redick,
correct,
and we'll talk about him a little later in the episode, that's actually a lot of value.
And I think the Clippers set themselves up to be the title favorites going into next year.
Without question.
If they would have just got Kawhi, I say no. They wouldn't have been title favorites. They would have been favorites to make the playoffs, maybe a top 4 seed in the West, of course.
I think they'd be a conference finals potential. They definitely would have conference finals potential because, like I said, that was a 48-win team, and you add in a Kawhi Leonard.
So
that's, you know what I'm saying? That's
outside of Kawhi. Well, outside of the Clippers, of course, with the blockbuster deal that happened yesterday, what team do you think won free agency? Or the offseason? It doesn't have to be free agency. It could have been a draft included. It could have been a trade that was made, a player that was cut, anything. What team, just off pure emotion, what team do you think won the offseason?
I need a second to think about it. So I want you to go first.
So to me, it's easy. I think Brooklyn.
Oh,
I think
God.
Brooklyn,
100%. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Won the offseason. You signed Kyrie Irving, who's a top 15 player. You signed Kevin Durant, who even at 90% is a top 15 player. And you
top 5 player probably.
Right, and you still have room to sign DeAndre Jordan. So I think Brooklyn, they're kind of in the same position that the Clippers were in last year. No one really expected them to be any good. No one expected the Clippers to make the playoffs.
No, I mean they were supposed to be rebuilding.
Mid-season, they traded away their best player, Tobias Harris.
Yeah,
they traded away their best player and still made the playoffs and took the Warriors to 6. Portland was 100% healthy and got swept by the Warriors.
Sans KD, the Warriors
right, without KD. Yeah. So I think Brooklyn was a team that going into the year, no one really expected to be great. They didn't expect them to be trash. They didn't expect them to be like the Knicks and win 17 games, but
they were like a 30 to 35 win team.
Correct, and
team that finished,
they overperformed,
top 10 pick in the draft.
And then they upgraded at point guard and at center.
Yeah,
the only thing I don't like about that, before you start, the only thing I don't like about that is I like Jared Allen. I thought he was improving a lot as a
Yeah,
player
I
in his
agree with
overall game. So them signing DeAndre Jordan is like but it was a short-term deal. I think it was only 2 years. I think it was like 2 years, $20 million, something like that.
I thought it was a $40 million deal.
I thought it was 2 years, $20 million. You think it was 4 years, $40 million?
Might be right. Let
me see.
For some reason, that's what my brain is telling me.
Could be.
Because if it's
Yeah,
either,
but it was 4 years, $40 million.
say, either way, I know it was $10 million per.
Mm-hmm. I know it was 10 per. I thought it was for 2 years.
Because that was why Kyrie and KD took the pay cut. If you remember, they did that so that money could be freed up to bring in Jordan for the 4-year period. I think overall, because you factor in the KD move, obviously he's not going to be there this year, but boy, that's going to be one hell of a prize, once next season comes. The anticipation in the New York area is going to be off the chain in Brooklyn. But we talked about this a little bit on our last podcast. I am a little disappointed with the fact that one of my favorite rising players, D'Angelo Russell, who everyone likes to laugh about because of the snitch jokes, and he was widely, I think, I shouldn't say looked down upon, but because he didn't quite have the start most people, including people such as you and I, had anticipated. We thought that he was the best player in that draft. Things right out of the gate just do not go well for him in a Lakers uniform. Gets traded to Brooklyn. You see last year he starts to improve, and then this year he really takes off.
Last year he got injured, if you remember.
Right. How many? He only played in, I think, 30.
He didn't play a lot of games. I know he got injured last year.
I don't know. But this year, man, not only was I impressed with his scoring ability, and not only just the assists, but he really developed into a floor general. You saw him putting those young players in position to succeed. When it was Dinwiddie coming in, you could see he could play alongside him, which is really impressive for a young point guard to be willing to play off ball alongside another young point guard, and former Piston Spencer Dinwiddie, who we don't need to get into that, but alongside Karis LeVert, you saw Jarrett Allen grow with him, and so I really, really loved where that team is heading. Obviously, Pistons fan 1 and number 2 Raptors fan, but I love watching young teams develop and build something, just like how I'm excited to see what happens in Atlanta going forward, but we can talk about that later in the podcast. But I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, talent trumps potential, whatever, but I still think that right now Kyrie obviously is the better player.
Right.
But I'm just a little worried about that core. How will Kyrie play, in terms of helping those young guys around them build? Because obviously, any team with KD and Kyrie, barring some horrendous chemistry fit, and as far as I know, the two of them are supposed to be pretty good friends, which is what helped lead to this decision to begin with, which is why both of them ended up there, and why neither one ended up in New York or elsewhere. I'm assuming they probably planned on going to the same team to begin with. That's definitely possible. So barring some horrific chemistry issue or some catastrophic injury, knock on wood, doesn't happen, because I'm rooting for both. I don't ever, no matter how much we may talk crap about KD in the past, we never wish injury upon anyone. So. But barring any unforeseen circumstance, any team with those two guys is a title contender. KD and Kyrie, that's a title contender.
No, I agree, and I wasn't even going to say that talent trumps potential. The thing is, a lot of teams in today's NBA, you don't have time for talent development. I think teams are afraid of what happened in OKC, where you have 3 MVPs on one team and you don't get it done. When you probably could have traded one of them at any point in time while they were in OKC and got back a big haul. Probably could have got back a superstar. So I think teams don't have time for youth to develop. The only team that's really developing their youth right now, is probably Denver. They kept their young core together.
Atlanta,
but I mean, Trae Young's been in the league for 1 year. John Collins been in the league for 2 years. So it's like they have no choice. It's not like they're intentionally developing.
Even Phoenix gave up on your buddy.
Who? Oh, Josh Jackson and T.J. Warren.
Felon. That T.J. Warren.
But that's the thing. Like
T.J.
Warren,
I totally understand.
Josh Jackson gone. Washington gave up Kelly Oubre and Otto Porter Jr.
That was such a head scratcher.
It's happening so much across the league that if you look over in Denver, you haven't really seen any Gary Harris trade rumors. You haven't seen Jamal Murray trade rumors. You haven't seen Jokic trade rumors.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, outside of Denver, what other team is like, okay, we're going to get this young talent. We're going to cultivate it. We're going to make – no. Maybe Boston. We'll see what Boston does. But Terry Rozier's gone. So now you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But they were just in trade packages for Anthony Davis. Yeah. So it's like teams aren't really trying to wait to develop young talent. They rather go with the proven commodity now than something that may or may not be as good. But
which I think makes sense because just really quick to get my point across. The reason why I agree with that in most cases, and I think the Kyrie, D'Angelo Russell thing is more of the exception to the rule for me, but it's like a lot of times you'll get these analysts who say, oh God, what is such and such doing? Like one of the times where that clearly backfired, and that's because at the time it made no sense. It was when they traded away when the Nets traded away all those picks. Right. For a 70-year-old Kevin Garnett and a 60-year-old Paul Pierce.
And don't forget Jason Terry.
And a 65-year-old? Was he 65?
I think he retired. He was like 80,
So Jason Terry. So you have three guys who combined their age is north of 200 years.
Right.
So, of course, that backfired. But generally speaking...
Did it, though? But did it?
At the time, it did.
At the time,
it did.
Correct.
But... in a sense, I don't think it's fair to say it necessarily paid off per se because
no, it didn't pay off.
The two moves weren't interrelated. It's not like their success now had anything to do with those taking on those aging superstars.
Right, but what
aging,
with that is like
old superstars.
It kind of brings up the Clippers thing. They traded all those picks. Boston got all those picks and and they're in the same boat. If anything, the Nets are in a better position now than Boston is.
Oh, of course they are.
But
you actually used those exact words on our last podcast.
Exactly. So it's like,
ooh.
What exactly did you just crack your neck?
Hell yeah, I think the mic probably picked it up.
Lucky shit didn't break. You traded all those picks. They took a gamble. The gamble didn't pay off for their team long run, but it also, you can't really say it hurt them because the team that they traded all those picks to, they're in the same. The Celtics haven't been in the finals. The Celtics haven't really experienced any success. They've been talked about. They have a pretty good team, but right now the Nets have a better team than the Celtics do.
Yeah,
the Celtics have
a ton of credit needs to go to Sean Marks.
Oh, Sean Marks
done a phenomenal job.
I think it goes
even without the KD and Kyrie stuff. I mean, the fact that he took that young core, the D'Angelo Russell move, all those things, and made them into a playoff team even last year.
I think it goes
incredible.
As far as like basketball, NBA front offices. Jerry West is number 1. Masai Ujiri is number 2, and Sean Marks is number 3.
Ed Stefanski, number 4.
Ed Stefanski is like number 11.
No, he's top 10, bro.
He's like number 11.
I think he's top 10.
He's like number 11.
Look what he did this offseason with the Pistons.
Okay, look at Sam Presti. Now, granted, KD left OKC. He didn't get anything for KD. But Paul George wanted to leave. You heard no rumors. No one even knew. No one knew that there was a possibility that Paul George was leaving.
True.
You heard Jimmy Butler's name. You heard Kevin Durant's name. He put together a nice trade package and got back. He got back more than what he would have got if Paul George would have demanded the trade mid-season. Because once a player demands a trade, their value goes down a little bit.
Because your hand is essentially
exactly
tipped.
Your hand is shown.
Yeah, so they know they say well, you got to get rid of him anyway, so we're gonna give you
and
this.
And then next, most likely, you're gonna trade Russ and get back another pretty good haul for him.
So that actually segues perfectly into our next conversation, and it's actually a 2-part combo.
Wait! Before we go to the next combo, who lost the offseason?
I mean, the obvious answer,
right,
is the New York Knickerbockers. Because when you just look at how everything unfolded, and the funny thing was, you and I, prophetically, even before our last podcast, we had probably had people, if you want to scroll our Twitters, we said hundreds of times, watch KD and Kyrie not end up in New York. Now, we didn't predict necessarily that Zion was going to go there, because the draft is a lot. It's a gamble. I mean, not a gamble. Right. It's a lottery. No one knows.
No one knows who's going to win.
I mean, there's.
If anyone says they know, it's a guess. You don't.
And there's always the conspiracy theories. Oh, the draft lottery is rigged. But why would the Knicks? Why would the NBA not want the Knicks to get Zion?
Right.
I mean, that makes no sense.
So, or the Lakers, because they could have.
Exactly. So, you and I saw that coming. That the Knicks, this is just a bad franchise. I mean, this is a bad organization. It's like literally James Dolan is
ran
in conversation for like one of the worst owners, not only in the NBA, but not only maybe even sports, but in sports history. Because the Knicks have not quite maybe the status of the Lakers, but as far as, appeal to free agents. I mean, you talk about the biggest market in all of sports. Like, you basically know, as any professional athlete knows, that if you join the Knicks, join the New York area, period, whether it's the Yankees, the Knicks, the Giants, even though obviously they play in New Jersey, but these are all such big market teams in that area.
Right, New York. You
have a chance to become a billionaire. If LeBron had gone to the Knicks, he's a billionaire. Without
for sure.
Just off the marketing.
I think he is now with that Nike deal, but I know what you mean.
For sure, but I'm saying, he's a billionaire off of his own marketing, not to do with his own investments, because we know that, what is it, the pizza place he started up?
Yeah, what is it, Blaze Pizza?
Yeah, like in his other investments.
Well, he didn't start it, but you got to give shout-outs to the actual creators. I don't know who created it, but it wasn't.
But LeBron. You get my point, though. His own investments don't have anything to do with it. Just like the billboards and all those, whatever, the market itself, you're a billionaire off that. And yet the Knicks somehow, despite having that inherent advantage, still find a way to not ever lure anyone. Who's the biggest free agent they've signed in the past 15 years?
The biggest free agent?
Mari Stoudemire?
Mari Stoudemire.
Because Melo was a trade.
Yeah, Melo was a trade.
And that was disastrous because Melo wouldn't refuse to wait until the offseason.
They got the Zion without hops.
Julius Randle. Okay.
Forgot about that guy.
Wayne Ellington.
Don't forget about Reggie. Reggie Bullock.
Hey, that's my guy right there.
So, I think I don't want to pick on the Knicks. I do think they lost the offseason.
Pick on the Knicks? They deserve to be picked on.
No,
they're a disgrace.
I don't think they lost the offseason as far as they made a lot of stupid-ass moves. Not offering KD the max, dumb. They backed out of their meeting they had with Kawhi because they were scared that if they were going to lose their other free agents.
Yeah, who was it that they were worried about losing?
I think Kyrie and KD. They couldn't get all three of them.
I thought it was something else.
No, they backed out because they backed out because they were scared to lose. But outside of the Knicks, the team to me that lost the offseason is probably the Pacers. But people don't really know, but they lost four integral pieces of their team last year. So Bogdanovich is gone, starting small forward. Thaddeus Young is gone, starting power forward. Darren Collison retired, starting point guard.
This is Jehovah's Witness.
Exactly. And then people forget Tyreke Evans got banned from the NBA for 2 years.
And
for banned substance.
Does anyone know what the substance was?
I don't know.
Because that whole thing just really pisses me off.
But even with that, and then you sign Malcolm Brogdon, who I think is a phenomenal player. A phenomenal,
not no damn 80
complimentary player. 4 years, $85 million. Now, granted, I'm for everybody getting paid. I'm not counting my man's pockets.
Let everybody eat. The NBA, because they've got the money. The owners making billions sitting there.
And then they have to pay.
Right.
People know there's a salary cap, but then there's like a salary floor too, if that makes sense. Like, your roster has to make a certain amount of money every year. Most people don't know that. So this money has to go to somebody. And it's Indiana. It's almost like Detroit. Free agents aren't just lining up to go to Indiana.
Probably more to Detroit than they are to Indiana.
But I think they could have pulled off, I don't know. I think they could have waited or maybe sign another big name free agent because Oladipo likely out for maybe the first month of the season. Who are you going to for offense?
Brogdon's not really looked at a guy who creates. He's more of an off the ball guard. Yeah,
Brogdon's the off the ball. He's a complementary piece to whoever your point guard is because he can handle the ball.
Bogdanovich was a guy who could definitely create a bit for himself. He's gone. I would say the closest thing to a go-to guy you have right now is probably Sabonis, who I like a lot, but he's not he doesn't shoot a lot of threes, and in today's NBA, when if your primary playmaker scorer can't shoot threes, that's a problem.
Sabonis is nice. And they also lost Wesley Matthews too.
That's right.
I forgot.
He went to the Bucks.
Yep. They got Jeremy Lamb, but his career has been
a disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment. It hasn't been terrible. He's still in the league. He's 27. But it hasn't been what we thought it was going to be.
He to me is like the epitome of an average NBA player.
Oh, for sure.
As a starting shooting guard, not like an average overall player.
And it's funny because he played on the Hornets, who was like the epitome of an average NBA team last year.
Every player apart from Kemba Walker was like a computer generated. Like if you were to go to 2K and set everything to like not the lowest level, but like the base level, whether it was
like the league average for
Jeremy
everything.
Lamb, Frank Kaminsky,
Nicholas Batum,
and
Marvin
Williams. These were all just a whole bunch of like average guys. Oh, Kid Gilchrist.
Oh my god,
What
that
another
guy.
bust.
Number 2 pick overall. But yeah, I don't know. I think Indiana definitely lost the offseason outside the Knicks. The Knicks, they don't. They're in their own category. The Knicks could lose the offseason every year for the next 10 years.
See, that's the thing, though. It's like you expect. We talked about it, like the inevitabilities of life.
Mm-hmm. Death,
taxes, Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons knocking on your door, harassing you, and the New York Knicks just sucking.
Being a horribly run franchise. Do they even have who's the GM? I've never heard anyone say, "Yeah, this is the GM of the Knicks." I know Dolan doesn't run it. He has to have a GM.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
Is it? Wait. No.
So, I found out who the GM of the Knicks is. A fellow by the name of Scott Perry. And probably doesn't sound significant at all.
Yeah,
but and to most people watching this, it probably won't have any significance. You want to know what makes this so funny? The irony in this? Guess where he's from?
Detroit.
Guess what school he went to?
U of D.
Yes. U of D Jesuit alumni.
Man, we produce nothing but losers, man.
U of D Jesuit alumni.
Scott Perry. What other losers do we know that went to U?
He went to Oregon University.
What year did he graduate?
And then Wayne State. It says he went there. It doesn't tell me. But you can kind of do the math. He was born in 1963. So you can do 18 years from that. It'll be 81.
Class of 81.
80 or 81, depending on. His birthday falls in November, so it could have been 81. U of D. Of course, the one guy that's running the most dysfunctional team in the NBA went to U of D. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Can't say I'm surprised, though. But, like I said, man, I mean, it does seem that, I don't even know how much we can blame the homeboy because it's like the ownership there is just so bad.
Oh, yeah,
then again, the GM obviously does have opportunities, but, everything has to be approved or vetoed by
the president.
By the president, owner, whatever, in order for this type of stuff to go through. And so there's always just going to be problems with that organization as long as Dolan is running things there.
No, I agree.
But this brings us to the next point, which I was getting ready to bring up before we brought up before you brought up that question. Actually, no, I got another question for you.
Okay.
Who sneakily under the radar had the best? Your eyes just blows me. Sneakily? Who sneakily? Sneakily. That's a word, isn't it? You don't think so? I'm about to look it up.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Look it up.
It just sounds funny. Sneakily.
In a furtive or sly way. In a sentence, she sneakily hid a surprise gift in his room.
What does furtive mean?
Attempting to avoid notice or attention, typically because of guilt or a belief that discovery would lead to trouble.
So like incognito.
Secretive. Suggestive of guilty nervousness.
So like incognito.
Yeah, under the radar.
Okay.
Which we pretty much already explained in a roundabout way, but took a few extra seconds to look up on the online dictionary. Anywho, who sneakily
won free agency?
Won the offseason so far in your mind. You give your pick, and then I shall give mine.
The team that won the offseason so far. Sneakily. To me, and I don't want to say sneakily, because I think everyone's already talking about this team. But especially with this Kawhi news going on and all the drama pointing to LA, people are almost forgetting about this team. For now, once the season starts, of course, everyone's going to talk about them. And it's the Sixers. I think getting Al Horford, getting Josh Richardson.
Sneakily, though? Because I feel like a ton of people, just the other day, ESPN did a poll saying, are the Sixers the new favorite team?
They were all over the news. Oh, okay. So if you don't want to give me the Sixers, that's fine.
No.
The next team is going to be the Jazz.
I like that.
You improve point guard with Bogdanovich and Mike Conley.
And so now you're going to move Donovan Mitchell over to 2 then, I guess?
That's who he was playing. Yeah, Ricky Rubio last year running the one.
Right, that's true. That's
Right.
true.
So you get rid of Rubio, you get Mike Conley, who's an upgrade on the offensive and defensive end,
For sure.
and you get Bogdanovich. You keep Joe Ingles, get rid of Derek Favors and sign Egg Davis.
That was another low key signing.
So it's like, I think the Jazz are
Sure.
sneakily won the offseason. Sneakily.
Right,
And don't forget, wait, before you go, they also signed Jeff Green.
that was also
sneakily.
a nice pick. Sneakily signed.
They also
They
sneakily signed
snuck
him.
him in the back
Exactly.
door.
They didn't want to get
Right.
in trouble.
Right. Sneakily. I hate to be biased here, but I'm going to be. I thought sneakily another team that maybe not the best offseason, but quietly had a very good one so far.
Thursday and ball at you say what I think you're going to say.
What? You don't think the Pistons had a
No,
good
not at
offseason?
all. I knew you was about to say that shit.
So far,
How?
they Derrick Rose, Markieff Morris, and Tony Snell got rid of John Lure. Okay. I thought those were some solid moves considering that they had no wiggle room going into this offseason. You are just looking down. You're not looking at your phone. Look, man, hate all you
You
want.
signed the corpse of Derrick Rose.
Oh, come
He
on,
had
man.
one good year.
They're barely paying him.
One good year.
They're barely paying him anything. $7.5 million in today's NBA is like getting paid minimum wage.
He signed. He
Back when it
had
was $750.
one good year. You signed a guy who couldn't see the floor in the playoffs for the Bucks. Pat Connaughton played more than Tony Snell in the playoffs.
Pat Connaughton's like a solid young player.
He is. He's solid.
And Tony Snell is coming back from injury, in fairness.
Pat Connaughton saw the floor more than Tony. And then you signed the off-brand version of the dude you already had signed.
Come on,
You signed the poor man's version
But
of
Marcus
Morris.
come on, man.
With Markieff
You're
Morris.
just not being fair
What
now.
the heck?
You're not being
Bro,
fair.
what?
No matter what the Pistons do, you're just gonna criticize them.
No.
Yes.
No.
Look, man, I'm a bigger.
I hated the draft. Signing Derrick Rose.
Okay,
was
yeah,
a
I
good
will give
signing.
you that. The trading the 30th pick I thought was idiotic, and then using it on that European dude who's Sabitis or whatever his name was. I didn't like that.
Listen.
But I must admit, Sekou Doumbouya, although he has not played in any of the summer league games yet,
He looks nice, huh?
Hey, looking at his
looks
highlights, he's 6'9", 6'10", can put the
Let me
ball
tell
on
you,
the floor.
we can go to right now. We can go right now to a gym in Novi, Farmington, wherever the hell you want to go.
Don't say.
And I can record a highlight tape of you in the gym, edit it up,
Oh,
gloss it all up.
on,
like
man.
This new 2021 Pistons draftee.
Bro, you're just not being
Bro,
fair,
listen,
bro.
no,
No
this
matter
is what
what
I'm
the
saying.
Pistons do, you're
This is
going
what
to
I'm saying.
criticize
First off, my
them.
man shot 27% from three. Don't look at the highlight tape, look at the numbers as well. And then look at game film. Watching someone play and watch someone's highlight tape, two different. You know who who looked like a damn world-changing star on their highlight tape? Andrew Wiggins. You watch Andrew Wiggins' highlight tape, he looked like the best player to come out of high school since LeBron James. And what the hell is he?
Well, hey, there's a reason why this guy was projected to go top 8. So obviously the NBA
You
mind.
know who else was projected to go top 8? Thomas Robinson. You know who else? Hasheem Thabeet. You know who else? Derek Williams. You know who else? Tristan Thompson. That's who you want to pay? You want to pay Tristan Thompson? There's so many players are projected to go
Like I
top
said,
8.
bro, no matter
These damn
what.
pro scouts know nothing. They know nothing. You know why I say that? Draymond Green fell to the second round. Malcolm Brogdon fell to the second round. Jimmy Butler was the last pick of the first round. Kawhi Leonard out of the top 10.
27.
Kyle Kuzma, 27th pick. Kawhi Leonard out of the top 10. Paul George out of the top 10.
Where was Gordon Hayward? Was he like 9th?
Gordon Hayward, I want to say he might have been a top 10 pick. Might have been. Basically, what I'm saying is these highlight tapes, especially now.
9th.
Especially now with these players being so young. Like back then, it was easier to project what a player was going to be because he stayed in school for 2 or 3 years. Watching a player play for 2 or 3 years, that's why usually when a guy gets drafted to the league in the top 10 and he's not a freshman, he usually pans out pretty good because you got a chance to see him, his game develop, and you know, like, okay, this guy's going to be good because he can do these things good. Most players that's young, they get drafted, they're getting drafted off of potential. They're like, oh, he may be able to do these things.
Potential.
He
What's the other
may
word?
turn to this
Potential
guy.
upside.
Upside, yeah, I hate that. There's no such thing as the upside. Are you good or are you not? I want to know, can I develop you? Are you already developed? Do you already have these skills? Now, can I make these skills better? Probably. I don't want to have to turn you into a jump shooter. You shooting 27% from 3? You're not a jump shooter. I'm going to have to break down your shot and turn you into a jump shooter. That's why I hate the word upside or potential. That's basically saying, like, right now you can't do these things. I'm going to try to make you do these things. I was talking to a coworker about this the other day.
Oh, here we go.
Only probably 2 players in the NBA. 2 players. Probably within the last 20 years has actually developed their game significantly. Now I'm talking about Brook Lopez adding a 3-point shot. LeBron James, Blake Griffin. LeBron James made himself more of a athlete. No, Giannis has the same game. He just put on muscle. Giannis isn't a jump shooter. Coming into the NBA, his same flaws, the same. Now, will he develop his game? Maybe. I don't know. But the same strengths and the same flaws that he had, it's the same thing.
Just a higher volume.
Exactly. Not even higher volume opportunity is your strength usually gets stronger and you try to diminish your weaknesses. But LeBron didn't diminish his weaknesses. He made them into a strength. Now you can't just leave him open from 3. You have to respect that 3. Same thing with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin can now be crafty with the ball. He can create for others.
Chauncey Billups.
Even Chauncey turned into a floor general.
He was not a floor
gunner.
General. He got drafted.
But and that's no disrespect to other players like Kobe. Kobe's selling point when he was drafted of him being a scorer, that was him for his whole career. He never turned into some great facilitator. He never turned into some great rebounder.
He did improve his passing ability as his career went on.
Yeah, but
there was a couple of years where he averaged.
I wouldn't say he's a
assists.
facilitator though. You wouldn't call Kobe facilitator. He gets his assists in the flow of the offense. Michael Jordan, same thing. Michael Jordan, he did have those streaks when he had 8 triple doubles in a row, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But he was stat hunting. There's multiple articles wrote about how he was stat hunting, trying to get triple almost. So it's like he was pegged as a elite scorer and an elite defender coming out of college. Basically, what I'm saying is most guys don't typically develop their game. Well, they don't typically develop a skill that they didn't have before.
I'm just saying, man. Give this guy a chance, all right? Look.
Chance my ass.
You just, like I said, bro, no matter what the Pistons do.
Until they do something that impresses me. Derrick Rose, I like the signing.
You were just complaining about it 30 seconds ago.
Well, that's because you're trying to make it seem like they sneakily won. Where I like it because
even ESPN ranked it as a top three sneaky offseason move.
Him being a backup point guard, I like that. You're not gonna sell me on Markieff Morris.
I thought that's a sign.
You're not gonna sell me on Tony Snell.
But you have to consider, first of all, it's not the fact that they got Tony Snell. It's the fact that they got rid of John Lure.
Okay.
And then when you talk about Markieff Morris, they didn't spend 25 or 30 million on him. I think it was 2 years, 8 million or something like that. It might have even been less. So when you consider the dollars committed and the player he can be, and not just the player he is, but the weakness it will fill for you, because the
player
Pistons
he can be. But that's the thing. So the Pistons are in the rebuild mode, right?
Correct.
Would you say that?
They're
strongest,
quote unquote going for it, but they're not good
their
enough.
Their strongest position is what? What would you say their strongest position is?
Power forward.
What did they draft?
Small forward / power forward.
What did they draft?
Small forward / power forward.
He's a power forward.
Small forward / power forward.
He's a power forward.
SF / PF.
That guy's gonna play power forward.
So you think
he's
PF flyer automatic?
Well, no.
Is he wearing PF flyer shoes?
No, but everyone's going small ball anyway, so it's gonna be times where Drummond is off the court.
Positionless NBA now.
Right. So you draft a power forward, but you're not in rebuilding mode. So when is he gonna develop? And then you sign another guy that plays power forward. What are the damn odds in that? What are the odds?
Look, man, it gives you some depth.
And the second round pick was also a big man.
Okay, that I agree that not picking up Kevin Porter Jr. when he was there was
what they really needed was a small forward. They did not fill the void that Derrick Rose, I guess you can say they filled the void of a playmaker that was needed.
Yes.
Other than that, they did not improve their 3-point shooting at all. Because Tony Snell, but he isn't a better shooter than Wayne Ellington. You lost Wayne Ellington, so it didn't improve. You might have got someone that can shoot now, but Wayne Ellington was a better shooter, so that didn't improve. So if you look at the Pistons,
like I said, bro. Pistons could sign.
Marquise Morris probably shot less than 33%.
Peace be upon him. Jesus Christ, Moses and Abraham. They can sign all these guys.
I bet y'all be at those damn games.
What?
I said I bet y'all be at those damn games. They sign
and you'll be booing them because
hell yeah! As soon as they start throwing the ball out of bounds.
Marcus Morris.
Markeith, sorry. 34%
from three last year. Averaged 1 3-point make per game. That's not bad.
Hey, he made one a game. That's not gonna do you any good.
He came off the bench. He only played 16 minutes a game.
For what team? The Wizards and who else? OKC. So of one contending team, he couldn't help them out, and they needed floor spacing. OKC desperately needed floor spacing, and he still couldn't find a way on the court.
Hey, for 36 minutes, he averaged 16 a game last year.
The dumbest stat. What did he actually average per the minutes he played?
The season?
Yeah.
9.4.
All right.
And 5 boards.
Basically, what I'm saying is the Pistons didn't really feel any of their weaknesses. They didn't really strengthen anything outside of getting a playmaker. They needed that.
I thought they quietly give because they. You have to also understand it's a circumstantial take. The Pistons had like no cap space whatsoever, and they turned it into something decent. Not sitting here and told you that they solved their problems, but given what they had to work with, if you would have told me 3 weeks ago that they would find a way to get a decent backup point guard, a decent backup forward, and you would move John Lewis' contract for a serviceable wing guy off the bench, I would say, hey, that's pretty good considering what they have to work with. But here you go shooting it down. Ed Stefanski inherited a mess from Van Gundy in that previous regime. Bro. He was brought into salary cap hell. And again, not telling you that they had this phenomenal offseason where they turned, shit into gold, but they turned shit
until I see the Pistons make some type of crazy move. Like, you know what I was expecting?
Vomit.
I was expecting the Pistons to somehow move Andre Drummond or Reggie Jackson, make one of these shocker moves, like do some shit that one of these other teams do. You're like, oh shit, I wish that was us. Even the Knicks, although they struck out, they traded their best player because they were trying to do something. The Pistons played too safe. They're playing too safe. Get rid of Drummond.
I think the Demboya
Get rid of Jackson.
I think the Sekou Demboya pick kind of falls into that.
Not even that, because like you said, he was projected a top 8 pick anyway.
Yeah.
Draft Kevin Porter, a guy that was sliding down. Draft Nasir Little, a guy that was sliding down the board.
I'm with you with Kevin Porter, Jim.
Like
100%. Especially when you consider the fact that Reggie Jackson's gone after this season, barring just Ed Stefanski and everyone on the crew just getting high out of their lives and accidentally giving Reggie Jackson a new contract, which gets inked before they sober up. Reggie's gone after this year, so you're gonna need to fill that spot. So it's like, why not draft
I can see the Pistons re-signing Reggie Jackson.
They do that. I will
just
jump off the Chrysler Center.
I will literally drive down to LCA every day, either when I get off work or before work, or when I'm off, and I will hold up a picket sign. I will hold up a picket sign of me protesting Reggie Jackson until I group all of the local homeless people, and we will all have picket signs, and we will picket every single game if the Pistons re-sign Reggie Jackson.